In this day and age, especially after the influx of companies using social media as a marketing tool, the media industry has become so saturated that it's very difficult for companies, brands to stand out. So how do you believe that they will be able to get noticed among this constant flood of content and messaging?
It's extremely difficult in the entertainment space anyway to constantly be in the public eye and catch the public's attention, and you never know what content is going to create the buzz.
I will say the few places that I've interned at, you do kind of become the resident young person, right? And companies are dying to figure out what people our age are interested in. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of you on the Zoom call. That's, we know when we're being marketed to, we're not dumb. And so what really sells these days is original content. We've all seen how St. Lawrence markets to people, right? Every college has the glitzy and the glammy college campus tour video with the fake snow and the fake leaves, right? And does that really isolate what St. Lawrence is? No. And it's original content. It's things that are different than what other companies and what other places are doing. And that could be podcasts like what Caitlin's doing. If I'm a prospective student and I'm tired of seeing the glitzy and glammy stuff, and I'm tired of seeing the same copy paste brochures, I'm going to look for original content. I want student run things. I want, skits. I want TikToks. I want, those are the opportunities where you have to capitalize on what demographic you're going towards, and then figure out creative ways, new ways to try to capture that audience.
My question is, in your careers or even your career search, what have you found to be some of the most valuable qualities or skills to have?
St. Lawrence puts like a big emphasis on kind of like writing in the FYP. That's a big part of it. And then like oral communication, presenting. I think one thing I thought I was always like very specifically good at was researching, but a lot of people who work in media are very good at researching. That's not as special as I thought it was. Not even being able to write, but liking to write if you do, especially like if you're an English major. That was one thing that I was surprised by, just how unique it is to kind of play up those soft skills if you genuinely enjoy doing them.
I was an English lit major and an art history minor. What I feel that my major did, those two things, and this does sound kind of cliche, but it opened my world and it just made me a broader person, I think. It wasn't something that I did in my career. What majoring in English literature did, I just became a better writer. Knowing how to write and knowing how to speak and knowing how to socialize. There's probably, unless you're in a very specific field where those things, if you're, a scientist, obviously there's things that are different, but having those three skills is the most critical thing you could do. And nothing makes me happier when I was interviewing more people back in the day was when I just saw someone come in, when I saw a sports marketing degree, I thought, oh dear Lord, because they're just so segmented in that field without learning how to think for themselves.
Whether it's writing skills, as Emma mentioned, or just that one-on-one, elevator pitch, the 30-second elevator pitch. And it sounds a little cliche, but boy, is that important, because when you do go to events or you meet alums, or you're in a job interview, to kind of sort of have that down. Again, you're a little bit of an actor and you have to kind of present it in an unrehearsed, personable kind of way.
But the other thing I think is just getting experiences that you can talk about. And if there's no jobs that pay, take an unpaid internship. Mm-hmm. Painful. It sucks. But you have stories to tell when you go for that interview. And you're going to have real experiences, talk about how you overcame and what you learned. And that's a big advantage in an interview, to talk about specific things